Hey, welcome to Creatives in the Spotlight. I'm the show's host and creator, Paul Hurley. Today I have Neil MacAulay with us here. And Neil has an organization that you run here called Wonder Warriors for Superkids.
Yep.
All right. So let me ask you, when did you start up this program?
Well, kind of complicated because we really just evolved. It's been over 10 years, but we're not exactly sure when we started. I don't know, you may have seen these videos on social media talking about, are showing you people going into hospitals, dressing the kids up, making their movie posters of the kids with superheroes. And a friend of mine saw it at the same time and said, can anyone do this? And I'm like, well, I can. And so it took over a year to get it all organized, get all the costumes, because they're donated costumes from Halloween, all sizes. My garage, I was just telling you, my garage is just filled with costumes.
So it's basically you're a nonprofit organization,
Yeah.
and you go to the hospitals where the children are.
Yeah.
In most cases, it's like the behavioral health hospitals.
Yeah, I call them my invisible kids because you don't hear a lot about them. You hear about kids in the hospitals that are sick with cancer, with other kinds of diseases.
And, normally those kids get the most attention because you're athletes and stuff like that, and celebrities get to go and pose pictures with the kids and get all the credit for it. And the kids that you're doing the creative work for, they really don't get that because of safety reasons and what have you. Now, I've been a part of your organization there for a little while as Bruce Wayne and Batman, but I have to say, working with a lot of these kids has been truly remarkable. And the work that you're doing, you are a creative. You are creating art and giving them a window of opportunity and hope. And, when you let these kids pick out their costumes and get to pose as their favorite superhero with, possibly their favorite superhero, you're creating that window of imagination and hope in their life. And I totally get that and just love the whole idea.
It's very therapeutic for them. They're dealing with some of the hardest things they've ever dealt with in their life, behavioral health issues. Some of these kids have been in the hospital for over a year. And I come in and remind them that they're a kid at heart and let them use their imagination, pick out their own costumes. It may not necessarily be Superman. It could be part Superman, part Flash, whatever they want to create. And
Mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. And then, we're in an area like this, and I tell them, okay, you really want to act out your character. You want to emote as an actor and show off those emotions so that when we do the editing, you're not just standing there smiling. And what I've been told from the therapists and the doctors is that it really has made an impact.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a one and done. We're going to do it just one time and then go home. But after that first photo session and seeing the impact that this has had on these kids, we're going strong 10 years. We just had to keep going.
Now, the pictures you have here, these are actors.
Right. These are models. These aren't patients. We don't show you the patients, HIPAA and security reasons for them. But we always like to show the public what we're doing. And so we always ask for models that don't mind showing and pretending. And they get one of these themselves. So
that's awesome. So they get to help promote your idea.
Right.
And, being a nonprofit charitable organization, you kind of rely on donations and stuff like that to keep going.
Right.
Because, there is still a lot of overhead in the costumes and housing them and, the photography.
Yeah, this is the most expensive part right here.
Yeah.
We have the most amazing volunteers. We're all non-paid, amazing staff. I'd never expected to come in contact with the type of people that I have that volunteered time after time to really help these kids.
Well, it's great when it comes from the heart.
Yeah.
And that's something that you can't buy. You can't put a price on.
Right.
And these kids see that and they know that. And later on in life, when they grow up and they look back on that, even though where they're at may be a dark time for them, but they are going to remember the good times.
Right. Right.
That's a lasting memory that they'll carry with them for as long as they have.
Right. And you'll notice that at the bottom of every poster, there's a saying that says, believe in yourself, you're a hero to someone already. So I'm hoping that they may hang these up in their wall at home, and that one little saying sticks to them and says, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And hopefully, so far what I've heard, hopefully it resonates.
That's good. That's good. There needs to be a little more interaction with children nowadays. I can't go a day without turning on the news and see some drive-by shooting or some shooting. In fact, there was a shooting just at a school the other day, a gun accidentally discharged. I'm like, what is a teenager doing with a firearm at a school function? A lot of it has to do with not having enough adult interaction, people that care about them and enough to instruct them or give them hope or push them in the right direction. Right. And this is something that Wonder Warriors is doing and showing that they matter. Yep. That's the worst thing I think a child can go through is feeling like they don't matter.
Exactly. And there's story after story, and I'm sure you've heard a lot of them. Mm-hmm. Like I had one kid, this was actually my first photo shoot, and he was dressed up as your favorite character, Batman. And 7 years old, he was really stern. And I'm like, smile. Batman does smile. And I'm like,
he's in character.
And I'm like, take off your mask. No, but Batman doesn't show his face. I'm like, okay. And so I'm like, okay, this is a lot of aggression from a 7-year-old. So I'm showing him the picture. I'm like, isn't that cool? No, that's not cool. And I'm like, what is going on here? And he goes, why are you doing this? And I said, because we love you guys. And he started crying on me.
Oh, wow.
I was like, okay, what just happened? I looked over to the doctor and he said, you got through to him.
Yeah.
And for someone that young to worry about, okay, what's your angle in all this? Why are you being nice to me?
Yeah.
Just kind of reflects what's going on in society today, which is that fear, I guess, of adults and, what are you doing to them?
Well, and that's a lot of things about trauma. When children go through a trauma, they always have their guard up afterwards because they're looking for the next thing to come at them. Yeah. And when you get them in a situation or isolated and realize that you're doing something out of a genuine gesture of kindness and love, that they literally break those walls down.
Yeah. We've had stories where, and again, these are stories that I've heard. I'm sure there are more than this, but I had one patient come in, and after it was all over, had a great time. The nurses were crying. I'm like, what's going on here? She's been at the hospital for over a week, not talking to other patients, not talking to other staff, not just staying in her room. So they didn't expect her to come out and participate. But when she was with me in the studio, using your imagination, pretending, we're talking, laughing back and forth, it just surprised me. And I didn't know it at the time. I probably couldn't have finished the shoot if I knew. But it surprised me at the time that she had spent that whole week not talking. And now she goes back up to her room and she's talking to all the kids. And he dressed me up as Wonder Woman, made me do this, that, and the other thing. What did they have you dress up as? Where an hour before, she has not talked in over a week.
It's total silence. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you're getting to them.
Yeah.
And to be able to reach a child that has their guard up. Yeah. That says so much. Yeah. So much about the cause, the organization, and just for the few times that I've gone, has just been absolutely amazing. At first Batman all menacing. They were like, oh my gosh, and the kids run and hide and so on and so forth. But, while we're out there doing it, the first couple of times that they came up and just gave me a hug, and I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
Stop. I'm supposed to be Batman. Yeah.
And it's smart. They know what costume you're wearing and what universe you're
Oh, yeah.
from.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And they're just so intuitive as far as that goes, and to be able to reach them and hopefully make a difference in their lives. And they are. Yeah. That you are reaching them and making that difference because of the way they're reacting. Right. And for doctors to notice it, nurses and staff, the whole program is just amazing.
I don't know what to say, but about it, but it has really touched my heart. I honestly thought it was going to be a one and done thing, but while we're shooting it, I told the other volunteers, like, I hope you're ready. We're going to be doing this for a long time.
There you go. In it for the long haul.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, you can check out Wonder Warriors for Super Kids online right here at this link. And Neil, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back. Guys, we'll see you in a second. Hey, welcome back to Creatives in the Spotlight. That was just a word from our sponsors. Now, Neil, tell me a little bit about where you're wanting Wonder Warriors to go.
Good question. You know, after doing this and seeing the impact that we've had on these kids, I would love to see this expand in other communities, get other people involved, not just me as a photographer. Start your own organization, your own group. I would love to help out, set everything up. This is a truly selfless organization. You're not going to be promoting yourself on social media and getting those pictures with the kids. And it's a true selfless act because you go home, no one knows you did it.
You're doing it from the heart, not for the hype.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be kind of cool if we were able to take something like this and go from one hospital to the next? And one thing I do want to let you know. So oftentimes the reason kids with behavioral health or developmentally delayed issues are kind of overseen is because we just don't know what to do with them, right? We don't know. I don't want to give you a present during Christmas only to find out that you hurt yourself or someone else. So those kids are kind of like in this vacuum that we really don't know what to do. This is such a good opportunity for these kids and giving something from the community to them because one, we're engaging them, we're having them use their imagination, we're giving them a poster. It's something that we can all do, and it really does not take a lot of effort to just give your time.
Right. Well, you're giving from the heart, and that's something that you can't put a price on.
Yep.
And I don't get me wrong, I love playing Batman, but I am retiring the bat suit.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I still want to be a part of the organization, so I'm going to get with you and talk about doing that, expanding and going to other hospitals.
Yeah.
I don't mind dusting off the old camera and then breaking out the lights and doing a little photography myself. But I do want to see it grow. I do want to see the impact continue. Because just from what I've seen in my short time with the organization, it's been life-changing, even for me, to see the children kind of break down that, you chisel away through that guard that they've got up, that wall, because a lot of these kids have been through some bad stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned some of them have been in the hospital for over a year. Can you imagine being 10 years old in a hospital, not having family come visit you, not having anyone check up on you, you're alone in the world, and then here we come in and say, just for right now, let's use our imagination. Let's take you out of this situation, and you're a hero in your world.
Well, I can almost imagine that. I went at 5 years old. I had a rare condition called acute epiglottitis. It's a swelling of the esophagus, and it choked off my airway. And I had to be in an oxygen tent for like 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had no physical contact. I could press against a rubber wall of the tent, against the shadow of my mother's hand. So I know dark places.
Yeah.
And to be in that situation and to see children in a similar situation or environment and see them break down and enjoy just the interaction and the whole imagination and portraying their favorite superhero. Right. It's magical.
It is.
It really is magical.
Can you imagine if we were able to get this going on in other cities, other hospitals, how many people we can influence?
Oh, I imagine.
I mean, if you want to change the world, you got to change the child.
That's right. That's right, because they are the future.
Yep.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that. You know, I see a lot of things from the youth today, and a lot of it stems from not having that interaction, right? Not having that guidance from an adult that cares. Right. And you know, guys, in all honesty, if we don't help our children, we're not helping ourselves, because they are the leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like I said, I want to continue to be a part of the organization, and I just may revert a little more to the Bruce Wayne role and bust out the camera versus the Batman.
You could be the Peter Parker role, working on cameras.
There you go. Yeah, I can bust out that way.
Oh, there you go.
But no, I very much have a lot of faith in what you're doing, and believe very strongly and firmly in the message that you're portraying to these children, because it really is making a difference in their life.
And it's not all about me. We have an amazing group of volunteers that show up day in, day out. I couldn't say thank you enough to what you've done, volunteering your time, and all the other volunteers that come in early on a Saturday morning, cold sometimes,
raining,
and then we rush into the hospital, set up our little studio, get all the costumes set up. I mean, there's a lot of work involved, but
it's so worth it.
Payoff, yeah.
It's so worth it. You know, just making an impact in a child's life, that means so much. Yeah. Not to just them, but to us. You know, to be able to see that we're making a difference. Yeah. And it's not about the hype, because we don't get to publicize this. We don't get to say, oh, look what we did, you know. And that really hurts, because you see a lot of these athletes go into some of these hospitals with the sick children, and they're taking pictures with the children, and they're posting it and doing this, that, and the other commercials. And yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad you're doing it. I'm glad you're getting all the glory and the hype from it, but you shouldn't do it for that reason. You should do it from here.
Right. The payoff is in the doing.
Right. It is. And a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know you did charity work, blah, 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 because I'll tell them, you know, I do some charity work with the children as Batman, so on and so forth. And they're like, really? Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, you know, if you do it to brag about it, then you're doing it to brag about it.
Right.
And that's
doing it for the wrong
reason. And one of our early starting this, it was like, you know, let's do this because it's the right thing to do, and because someone has to do it. I mean, I never knew what I was doing. I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, but I have no training in running a nonprofit. I've been doing photography my entire life, but you know, I knew nothing about becoming a 501(c)(3).
Yeah.
Never done interviews. This is actually my first interview. So
well, yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad I got.
Yeah. So you'll probably be the only, because
I don't know
behind the camera.
Well, yeah.
I think most photographers like to be behind the camera and just kind of manipulate things behind the scenes, and that's me.
Yeah. Well, you do such an amazing job with the photography and the editing. You know, to be able to present the kids with their posters, you know, that means a lot to them. It really, really does. And that to me means a lot. You know, to be able to make a difference in their life. You know, some of these kids, like you said, they get snatched up by CPS. They come from very bad environments. They're very hostile in situations, and you know, they build that wall because they have to protect their self, their sanity, their, you know, well-being. And I've been there. I know you are able to step over that or break through and show them that the whole world's not that bad.
Right. You can still be a kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
you don't lose your innocence.
No. They go through so many things that as an adult, I can't even imagine.
I want to stay a kid as long as possible.
Yeah, and
you know,
we've never gone through what they've gone through in the first 5-10 years of their lives. We will never be able to say, yeah, we know what it's like to be like that. We don't know what it's like to be in a hospital for a year without any family support.
Yeah. Just to be left there,
Yeah.
you know, and nobody that you recognize. And then you're leery about building relationships and building anything with a friend or a colleague or, you know, a mentor, because you never know when they're going to be out of your life.
But I have learned a back way, you know, to get to these kids, and that's through imagination.
Yeah.
They're still kids at heart. I mean, even though they've gone through what they've gone through, they're still kids. And I haven't met a kid yet that doesn't still have that imagination and that sense of wonder.
Yeah.
And it seems to have gotten through to them. I hope it has. We never get to hear the after, when they hand it to the parents and what happens after. But, you know, I've heard anecdotes from the nurses and stuff, but not directly. I would love to set up a system on our website where parents our caregivers can chime in and say, you know, what did this do for your kids?
Right,
you know,
right.
That'd be kind of cool.
And kids, look, if you're watching, if you've had any interaction with Wonder Warriors for Superkids in the past, and you've grown up and you look back and that memory or that, you know, opportunity that arose and you got to be a part of that, if that made a difference in your life, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
Seriously, just reach out and say, hey, Neil, thank you, you know, because it really has helped me in a way that I feel like I can make a difference and matter in a child's life.
Yeah, and it certainly is, to me, humbling. Like I said, when we first started, this was going to be a one and done situation. I was going to do it. It was being great, pat myself on the back and then find something out. But after seeing these kids and hearing the stories from the nurses and the staff from the hospitals, it's just
inspired you to keep going.
Yeah. It's a big rush. It is truly something like, I've made a difference. Maybe a small difference, maybe just for a day or two, but wow.
Well, I hope to have you on the show again, and I hope to hear from somebody that you've made a difference in their life. And I want to hear that story.
That would be worth this whole thing.
That's fantastic. Neil, thank you so very much for coming on the show today. And I want to talk to you afterwards, because I'm serious about jumping on board and helping at different facilities and get this going and making, you know, more of a difference in the community and these children's lives.
I'd love to teach you what I've learned, make some mistakes, avoid making those mistakes that I've made.
Right. That's knowledge you can't buy.
Right.
And I do appreciate that. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe and check out Neil. Check out Wonder Warriors for Superkids. They're making a difference in these children's lives, and you can too. I appreciate you checking us out today and viewing the show. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.